Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Ko-Fi, Patreon, crypto, and thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by Neil and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
What a disgrace.
What's a disgrace? What's a disgrace?
Why am I the only one G+?
That's okay, I've got two panels, Neil. If the G Plus panel was completely empty, it wouldn't matter. Only the other day, I've run several.
Taking it too lightly.
I've run several.
Everybody's sitting down.
I've run several members-only streams without anybody in the panel. So I originally asked Adam to stay at the end of the last members-only stream that was going out when QE did his live stream. I was testing my new graphics card drivers, and I ran for several hours without anybody in the stream. It didn't matter. Like 20 people in Discord. Hello, everyone of Discord.
Morning, Nathan. Neil.
Morning.
Morning.
Let's do a couple of housekeeping questions. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
Nobody going to answer him from Discord? Anybody got any ideas what we're talking
What's
about?
gravity?
No, clearly not, Neil. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
Yeah, no gravity at all. No.
A bit slow on the uptake there, Jin, but fine. Go ahead. Ideally, the answer comes after the question and before the dead air. That's the ideal I'd like to happen.
How about we start all over again, Nathan?
Let's do that. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
What's that?
109 years ago, it was the mass-attracting mass force that held you onto a spinning water ball flying through a vacuum until it was debunked by Einsteinian, pseudo-Riemannian, fourth-dimensional space-time bending, which is not a force. There you go. Any single viable hypothesis. After the question, before the dead air. If there's dead air, I'm going to step in with a new question. Go ahead, whoever that was.
That was me. I'm doing something. I'm sorry. I said it sounds like a story to me. Is there any evidence of this gravity? And how are they allowed to? How could you just change something that was taught in school for the longest time, and then you're going to tell me that they're just going to change it to a bending of a concept? And that was okay? Was everybody sleeping?
Not only was it okay, it wasn't changed in the schools and still isn't. School children are still taught Newtonian conceptual ideas that have been debunked 109 years ago of mass attracting mass and that creating a force of gravity holding you to the side of a spinning water ball. It also comes along, even if you are talking about Einsteinian rhetorics, with pseudo forces that are apparent. Therefore, they would say, well, therefore they're apparent, even though they're not forces. But the apparent force creates a downward vector for gas. Even though we don't experience that, it's a violation of natural law. Gas expands in all directions. Is there any evidence that we can have that gas pressure that we're all breathing without the necessary antecedent of a container for the gas to press upon.
No, without the gas pressure, there can be no containment.
Without the container, there can be no gas pressure.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Space is fake. So in the pre-show, Jim was explaining that in some of the discussions he's had on other servers, he's had to explain that the film cameras wouldn't work, the Hasselblad film wouldn't work, because the vacuum at minus 127 would destroy the film. It would get brittle. Well, to me, it's an argument we shouldn't necessarily be even engaged in, because the sky's not a vacuum. It's a violation of natural law to assert there's an area where cameras can take pictures from. So how the cameras might take pictures in an area that isn't real is, to me, whistling past the graveyard. Any evidence of the distance to the sun? Notice nobody's answering. Yet yesterday we were covering a Dave McKeegan video where he decided to strawman us with the general consensus of flat Earth and the heights to the sun, even though we don't claim them, and they claim 93 million miles. With flat Earth measurements in tow to get that distance. Specifically, a flat Earth elevation angle measurement to Polaris to give you a radial value for your sphere Earth. That would be a flat Earth measurement of an angle off a plane to Polaris to infer that the value you get comports with a spherical surface you just measured flat. Once you've got that spherical surface that you just measured flat, you can imply that a light in the sky called Venus, as Huygens did, has the same radial value as a spherical Earth measured flat. Once you have the spherical measurement of a radial value for an Earth that had angles producing it off a flat plane, you can superimpose that radial value onto Venus and apply Kepler's third law of interplanetary motion to give you the scale, and therefore distance, once you have one value. Prior to the assumption of Huygens that Venus has the same R value as Earth measured as a flat plane, you had no scale. You could slide the distances for the sun and moon to whatever you liked. Now it's fixed by Huygens. 93 million miles is your distance on a globe to your sun that you claim. But so you can hold up false straw men, you will say that we claim a height, and then you'll put a straw man model together that has also been derived from flat Earth elevation angle measurements to Polaris, converted onto a sphere using the circles of equal elevation, that's flat Earth circles based on the angles to Polaris, and then you'll roll that spherical projection out onto a tube that you can then cut flat, or project azimuthal equidistant, North Pole centric, and then say that that is our flat Earth model. A flat Earth angle measurement to Polaris projected onto a globe and then projected out using the latitude and longitude grid as a guide. Those systems have only come to fruition because we are measuring a flat Earth to get them. So, as John has said many times in the past, they need a flat Earth more than we do. Because that's where their globe notions come from. Any evidence that you can acquire an elevation angle measurement from a curved baseline?
That's just silly. You can't have angles from curves.
But the entire heliocentric model is based on angle measurements to stars. Earth's measured flat. The globe requires it to be so, for you to believe that the curved surface that you think you're standing on is representative of a protractor and a tool that measured the Earth flat. Go on, whoever that was. Or not. So yesterday in Dave McKeegan's show that we covered, Dave McKeegan takes a principle of leveling a tool and measuring angles to stars with respect to a plane and simply omitted the fact that the tool requires leveling prior to use. Just ignored it completely. The fact that he's described elevation angle measurements in his video means at some level he appreciates that he's dealing with elevation angles. That's flat Earth proof. But by not mentioning that he leveled the tool, he felt it was appropriate to show the tool sat sideways on a curved surface that would represent the angles the tool has measured, not the position that the tripod the tool is sat on is actually in. The tool remains flat. Very telling that Dave McKeegan left that out, and I want to rub it in permanently. Why wouldn't you mention that you have to level the tool? Would it because it doesn't quite work when you show it sideways on a sphere Earth, based on the angles you measured through when leveling the tool and taking angles to stars with respect to a plane? Is that why you didn't mention it, Dave? How embarrassing. How telling that you'd need to omit specific details about how the equatorial mount works. I wonder why. It's because Earth's measured flat with this tool. That's why. Otherwise he'd have mentioned it, wouldn't he? He didn't, because it's a fact that destroys every principle he decided to lie about when he described that the actual angle measured with the tool is the position of the tool on the curve of a protractor he calls a globe Earth. No, Dave, definitely not. Next time, you might want to mention the specific detail that's mentioned in every single setup manual for every single tool that you're referencing that uses the celestial dome and the plane beneath it, known as the equatorial plane. It's an equatorial mount. What's the equator? Oh, what? A minimum elevation angle measurement to Polaris taken from a flat plane? That's what the equator is? Well, you'll need a flat plane for your equator. You'll need a flat plane for your equatorial plane. You'll need a flat plane to level your tool to that plane. But none of those details got mentioned, even though they're in the very specific setup of an equatorial mount. I wonder why he didn't include that. Very telling. Earth's measured flat. Dave has to omit specific details about how tools work so that he can infer that they're stood sideways on globes. How quaint. Yeah, check out yesterday's show. Go on. Is that Eli?
Yeah, that was me. I was doing. Where was I? You asked. Oh, just at Earth Awakenings, where they call modding just volume limiting versus actually listening to what people are saying. As a matter of fact, I got muted for making coffee, and I said, "Dude, I'm in the middle of talking while I'm making my coffee. Can't be that bad. Die slow." It's like, you know what? F it. I'm tired of your shit, and just mutes me.
Yeah, because you know why.
Well, he wasn't really being adversarial against me or anything, but I just as a mod, like, because there was nothing personal. He just thought there's noise, therefore I'm gonna mute. But when you have like ramblings from people that are making arguments that have nothing to do with anything that's going on in the conversation, that doesn't count as noise because it's passive aggressiveness. It's a nice way to be a dick. That doesn't get moderated. Holding people to task and what they're actually saying, that's not the moderation that they did. No, it's noise limiting. They should get a game control.
Sure. I mean, the airy-fairy standards of various different servers that are out there. I don't know if I want to discuss this particularly, but you've brought it up. Their ideas of how this show should be managed, and I've heard this 10 years in comments, is often exercised into fruition in things like Earth Awakening server. And the net result is crap information can be allowed to pour through to an audience, and challenges, if they're stern enough, will be shut down because they don't like the way that the information's been presented. The tone of your voice becomes more important. I mean, Adam described it as a very woke way of dealing with people. Like, okay, that's how some people want to be in a civilized society because that is what society tells us is civilized currently. No, you've got to let everyone have their say. It's talking nonsense. Yeah, you've still got to let him have that nonsense spiel. Yeah. Right. What about if I challenge it and go
No,
through
you
it?
gotta shut that right down.
No, they've got to shut me down when I challenge it because I say, no, that's not correct. No, you can't just stop him. Oh, can I not? Why not? He's talking nonsense. Yeah, you've got to hear that nonsense out. Yeah, we have. We've heard it twice. Yeah, you still got to hear it again because he's saying it, isn't
So
he?
it's a beautiful territory for the virus of a globe head to persist because all they have to do is just at the beginning of your rebuttal go, no, that's not true. To which everybody with two ears can hear, well, actually, all they did was repeat what you said. And they're like, no, you misunderstood. And then they want to just filibuster again, then make their point again. So if you try to stop that from happening 3 times, let's just say you let it go on for 3 times and then you say, no, well, actually, you didn't address the point. It, that back and forth will then become loud enough for the moderators to say, hey, you guys need to settle down. So if I was a dirty fighter, I'd keep nut checking Mike Tyson until he bit someone's ear off. And then I'd go, now, settle down. No need to act like an animal, guys. Well, I mean, if all I have to do to win is just say no and be casually disruptive, I mean, what? I don't fucking get it. Someone
That's
is
right.
casually disruptive, and you say, well, this person is disrupted, like Ed Masto, for example. Like he's not even, he's just talking like this. Like he's just gonna keep on talking regardless of me saying, no, don't interrupt. No, what are you doing? Or why no, listen, I said this, not what. Like that back and forth is inevitably gonna get a mod from over
No, no,
there.
stop, Eli.
I
No,
love
we
I
need to
love
hear the
Stacy, not even
entirety of
including
the.
Stacy in this.
We need to hear the entirety of the red herring. Again, why are you interrupting him? We need the red herring in its entirety. Can you stop interrupting him, you monster?
Yep. Yep. But Geo
Meanwhile, the
doesn't.
rules
Geo,
should be reversed, right? Shouldn't it
but
be reversed? Shouldn't it be as soon as you hear like a logical fallacy or something that's incorrect, shouldn't it be stopped right there?
no, that's not the modding that majority of the mods there do. They do noise limiting. But Geo's pretty good. I've only persevered in the presence of Geo because Geo actually stops the room to allow me to make a point and then addresses the person who's not addressing the point. So I love Geo, but die slow. You're a fucking sorry, excuse my language. You're not that smart, kid.
He's not smart at all, Eli. You represent FED, and he's got his issues with FED because he's a Witzite. You know that. Come on. Did I lose connection?
No, my bad. I thought I was off mute and I wasn't. Good job you said something.
Oh, I thought I was off mute as well.
Oh, we were both jabbering into a closed mic.
I was wondering why nobody answered me. You're
I was in
part
full
of
swing.
FED.
I was wondering why nobody was agreeing with me. Go ahead, Levi. What were you saying? Well, you were posed a question by Neil actually that I responded to, but go ahead.
So I basically I just came in to just say that to be petty because I said that I would be leaving to go make my complaint. And so I did, and now I'm done.
Yeah, and it's a reasonable one. I mean, we're intentionally subjecting ourselves to these things. So when people moan like that to me in respect to our server, I'll say, well, you don't have to be here. You know, if you don't like how it's ran, you know, you can do the other thing. And the same applies to us when we're in other people's server. To a certain degree, you do have to just suck it up if that's how they want to be. Like, okay, well, I'll mould around that because I've got the winning point here. And it's going to be stressed. Now, if at the point that it's been chanted through or rumpused 10 times, and I'm getting frustrated at that point, as you put it, being nut-checked, then at some point you're going to lose your temper. But that will become the focus in a lot of arenas, and people want civil discourse. You're like, okay, but if my opponent's nut-checking me, eventually I'm going to lose my temper, but you're not recognising you're not being a good ref.
Exactly. Exactly. And you're telling them, hey, he's nut checking me. Can somebody do something?
And and
Like, yo, this is like,
and the guy nut checking you, right? I think it was Joe Rogan that said this about Mike Tyson. He says, look into his eyes. He's a killer. He's a monster. He's an animal, right? When he's in the ring, he's got one focus, and that's what people want. That type of person has a certain nature, and they'll rip your freaking ear off if you nut check them. That's the type of person that people want to watch in that sport, isn't
And
it?
you know what? To be technical, when he bit his ear off, he did it because Holyfield was fighting him dirty. Holyfield was headbutting him,
yep,
pushing him, he was bullying him. That's why Tyson got frustrated and bit him. That's a fact.
yep.
Yeah,
It was so sad because Mike Tyson was my hero, man. Undefeated. He was the best boxer in the world, man.
the two
I
are
don't care
No, he
what
wasn't
intertwined.
undefeated.
That's the point.
No.
The two are intertwined. For him to be your hero as a fighter, he has to be that mentality. Now, Holyfield knew that. That's why he's like them poking us, right? To get us to get annoyed, interrupt constantly, chant through us constantly, so that eventually we'll get annoyed. That's the reaction the person wants. Well, they don't expect you to rip their ear off with your teeth. That's what they don't expect. Now, someone who's got that mentality, if you're going to keep doing this, you're going to get something unexpected. Yeah? Because you're dealing with a monster. And we're in the ring right now. So you want to keep doing that, you're going to lose an ear.
Yeah, that's
And
true
Neil,
too. And
you're right.
that's how it
After he
is.
came out of jail, he did have his like first string of losses, or loss, or
Well, no, he lost the fight to Buster Douglas first before he went to jail. But let me just clear this up. He would
Mm.
never have beaten Holyfield. They were in the amateurs together, and he said that's one guy he could never beat was Holyfield. He just had that style that beat Tyson every time. But he
Okay.
bullied him. He
So
bullied
there's a
him
little
because
rivalry there.
yeah, Tyson was a little. Tyson would headbutt. He'd hit you with the back of his elbow. He did it so fast you didn't see it. So Holyfield just gave him his own medicine, and he couldn't take it. But now look at Mike Tyson. Holyfield is shot. He can't even talk. Tyson is perfect.
Yeah.
I like Tyson. I listen to Tyson a fair bit. He's just got great quips, like
So
great
do I.
one-liners. You know what I mean? He can shut someone down in a sentence, and that takes some skill.
Tyson's a flat
He
earther
sits
as well,
down
by
with
the way.
intellectual
Tyson's a
people,
flat earther.
and then when they say something, he passes a remark that stops them dead in their tracks. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Say again, Jin.
Mike Tyson's a flat earther, by the way. Did
How'd
you
you know that?
He's
How'd
a
you know
flat
that?
earther.
How'd you know? How'd you know that?
Sorry, yeah, I listened to one of his shows one time where he had all his black brothers together and they were discussing flat earth. So Mike Tyson is aware of the flat earth being flat. Okay? Tyson's a flat earther.
That doesn't make him a flat earther. That's not enough. Having a discussion about it, I can name 100 people that have had discussions about it that are definitely not flat earthers, in spite of having the discussions. So, how'd you...
Well, okay, yeah, but he's aware of it. He's aware of it, definitely, and he agreed with everything that was put forward. He was arguing for it. That makes him a flat earther in my book, anyway, even by default.
Where can I find this show, Jin? Where can I find that?
Yeah, let's have a look at this. Let's have a little look. Let's ascertain if Mike Tyson's actually a flat earther
I
or not.
don't really have that show as it was. It was a number of years ago. Yeah, it was a number of years ago. But you look it up. He was definitely discussing it on his show with his colleagues. They're sitting down and they were discussing flat Earth, and he was arguing for it. So Mike Tyson, flat earther without a doubt.
Fair enough. More power to you, Mike. I'm pretty sure if you get any shit over it, you'll rip their ears off.
Or bite their ears off.
But like you say, if I'm sure if we were to interview Mike Tyson about that exact incident, he'd describe it with a reasonably even temperament in terms of what Eli called nut checking, We all know what's being talked about, right? Well, that's been spun into, yeah, Tyson used to do those things, and he's getting a taste of his own medicine. Now, whether or not he'd reflect on that is kind of inconsequential to my point. It's more to the point that, no, you're poking the beast. Now, sometimes when you poke the beast enough, it does something unexpected. Because that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? And when people say, I like watching him win, yeah, that's because the nature of the beast is to win. But the nature of the beast does unexpected things when you nut check it.
So we come out biting. You nut check us, we come out biting.
No, it is weakness. I'm not going to... It sounds like I'm having a pop at Tyson now, which I definitely don't want to be coming across as doing, because he terrifies me. But there we go. No, I just think it's explaining that people who recognise that as a weakness will exploit it. Won't they? People exploit it in me all the time. If you can push me to a certain point, you can get me swearing and annoyed, can't you? Well, people will try and exploit that. Yeah? That's no different. That's weakness on my part. Now, part of overcoming weakness is to recognise it in the first instance, isn't it? But for Tyson, how can you recognise killer instinct as a weakness? You can't. How can you tell that animalistic instinct inside him that pushes him to win? How can you tell him, yeah, but you need to... It's right, full circle, back to Earth awakenings, isn't it? Because then you're into the, no, well, you need to, you know, when you're fighting, behave like this. And it's like, yeah, there's rules in the ring. And to a certain extent, they're obeyed. And likewise, we have rules in our ring. But if you make the rules really crap, the fight becomes boring, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That's a good illustration.
Okay, let's have this. Be with the Buzz is right on it. Thank you for sharing that. Be with the Buzz. Let's have a little listen. Have I got no sound from it? There's no sound from this. Unless I'm missing something.
Is this the Tyson clip?
Yeah, it's a Tyson clip, but I've got no sound coming through.
I can send you. I can look for.
Oh, here we go.
No fucking evidence to believe that we're around planet only, but people. Imagine we live on a flat fucking world. All this time we thought we lived on a round planet, huh? We have no fucking evidence to believe that we're around planet.
No swearing, Tyson.
And only, but people telling us, but we really don't know who
11.
we are, where we came from, who the fuck is our purpose here.
I'm not gonna go for that. You're not gonna tell me that on a round planet, though.
How do you know that? You never been out of space, nigga. Go ahead.
Wow, it's getting really loud real quick when people hear something. This cry, right? That's pain. I'm gonna hear that again.
Yep.
That's a guy going, you know, when they go to us, like effectively, la 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 la, I'm not listening when they rumpus us. Right? That's what Tyson's just induced in this man. He has turned his head 180 degrees away from the man that's just said it and just screamed. Listen to this.
Tell me that on a round planet, though.
How do you know that? You never been out of space, nigga. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
What did he say? What did he say?
Over 1,118 miles per hour.
The wind?
Yeah.
So that would tear us apart.
Yeah, I'm still not with you on it, I'm afraid, Jin.
So Mike Tyson.
Right, without any further ado, let us bring in the guest for the Flat Earth debate. Here we go.
Well, he did say that
Hey,
there's
David, how's it going?
no evidence.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me. This is
Sorry, I left the video to play and went on to the next one. Sorry.
Yeah,
Wait a second. So they were saying flat Earth debate.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I want
Yeah,
some more, Eli.
what were they saying? But basically, Tyson is just saying that you don't have any evidence to believe it. Like, the lack of evidence just leave us with what everyone experiences: a flat, non-rotating, stationary plane.
Yeah, but how do I know that he's not just taking the position for the sake of discussion? Because he's put the argument forward, but he's not making a declaration outright what he is.
Well, I mean, he's saying there's no evidence. For someone to say there's no evidence of something means that they're basically saying, well, I believe it if there was evidence.
Let's rephrase
Like, unless
this.
he's lying.
Okay,
Unless he's lying.
I'm not suggesting that. When I get challenged in terms of whether or not I'm a flat earther by our anti-flat earth opponents, they want to deny something that I will openly declare. I am a flat earther. Earth is measured flat. There's no ambiguity about what I'm suggesting. Now, likewise, there's people like, as we discussed yesterday, Robertson Jennis, who can easily debunk various aspects of heliocentrism. That's sun at centre, Earth moving around it in an orbital motion. Now, if he's using Ptolemy or older versions of a globe Earth rhetoric where the globe is at the centre, that's a geocentric globe Earth, you can have plenty of arguments that can overcome positions that heliocentrists take, but yet retain a globe Earth faith. Now, for me, unless Tyson was to overtly and explicitly say, I understand the fact that Earth is measured flat, I wouldn't necessarily ascribe him the title of flat earther. Now, you might pick up on this in the audience. Hang on a second. Doesn't that mean that your standard then unilaterally applies to all other people who maybe tag their videos as flat earth and then talk about how we, for example, haven't got earth curve, haven't got spin, should see at a certain distance but don't? They're not flat earthers either, by my now re-established standard. Unless you appreciate the fact that Earth is measured flat, I'm not interested in your beliefs about what globe Earth may or may not do. It doesn't mean anything to me anymore. People need to take a strong stance and understand how we're measuring Earth. Once they understand how we're measuring Earth and how their latitude specifically was developed into the globe, until you have that understanding, as far as I'm concerned, you're not a flat earther. Because you don't know that Earth is flat. Now, you might believe that the Earth is flat based on how you can show it not to be spherical, not to be turning, not to have Earth curve. But that doesn't make an overt declaration of the fact that Earth is flat, and that is the standard that I would hope people who declare themselves as flat earthers attain. Because if they don't, they're going to get dragged through the bushes backwards by anti-flat earthers who know the rhetoric and anti-rhetoric better than they do, based on their beliefs and what they've seen in YouTube for how the globe doesn't work. As far as I'm concerned, we've progressed beyond that. We don't even need to mention the globe. As flat earthers, we can just describe the way the world works. No reference to a globe needed. And if they describe a globe, they'll use everything we've just used to describe how the Earth actually functions to then hijack those measurements of a flat Earth to claim it's a globe. So they'll need what we say first to hold true, to then believe they're on a globe based on those flat Earth measurements. For example, radius. So they need a flat Earth more than we do. And if you're still telling us how it isn't a globe or how a globe should work but doesn't, you're in a globe mindset.
You want to know another thing that I can't stand? Like, I was in a conversation yesterday, and here we are again with these guys, just people saying that they don't want to say that they are flat earthers, but rather that it presents itself as a plane or planar. But synonyms for flat is even, level, plane, smooth, uniform, horizontal, unbroken, and planar. So there's that.
Right. And the way we derive these things in terms of our mapping and indeed our development of a spherical religion was to make angle measurements to the stars with respect to a horizontal plane of reference. We use it all day long for the heights of everything when we talk about sea level. We're talking about a level plane of reference. That's what Earth is measured as. That's how it's dealt with. That's how we know. Now, if you don't know that, then you don't know it's flat. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So shout out to you, Mike Tyson. In case you want a better argument, rather than how the globe may work according to religious rhetoric that's been derived from flat Earth measurements, just know how Earth's measured. And if you know only one fact about how Earth's measured, know that Polaris, for the North Pole centric system in the maps, is the basis for the measurements off a flat plane. The latitude lines that have been stretched around a globe are representative of angle measurements to Polaris, and each of those angles gives you an area of equal elevation. A circle of equal elevation just means that as you move around Polaris, with Polaris staying at the same angle, you end up with a circle, with Polaris at the center and you running along a flat baseline to the angle measurement to Polaris. Those are circles of equal elevation. Now, as you go further out, the angle to Polaris will decrease with respect to a flat plane. That's how latitude is measured and does form our globe claims if we make them. Earth must be measured flat first to infer that you're standing on a spherical surface. Obviously, when you reach that point, it's very difficult to conceptualize standing on a curved surface that's been measured flat. That's when you're a flat earther, as far as I'm concerned. When you know it's flat, and you can show it, and show how the globe comes out of those measurements. 83 people watching. Let's see if we can get it edged over 100. Very warm welcome to all of you who've just joined us. If you have just joined us, please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. We don't actually have a... Oh, no, I suppose we have actually covered a video today. I should really ask people to let
Imagine
Mike
we live
Tyson
on a...
know. This isn't on... this is somebody else, though. Somebody's trimmed this out. Someday Dead. Dead? Can't quite see it this distance on my big screen. Has anybody got an original link to Mike Tyson on any video so I can send people to him rather than to this particular trimmed out subscriber? If someone's got a link to Mike Tyson's channel, stick it in the Master B link and I'll direct my audience to him so they can say hi. Don't assume he's a friendly. Don't assume as... Sorry to do this to you, Jin. Don't assume that Jin's right. He may not be. Even with this video in tow. I want to hear that scream again while someone's digging out a link to a Mike Tyson video that I can actually send people to. Let's have a listen again.
A flat fucking world. All this time we thought we lived on a round planet, huh? We have no fucking evidence to believe that we're on a round planet, only by people telling us, but we really don't know who we are, where we came from, who the fuck is our purpose here.
I'm not going to go for that. You're not going to tell me that on a round planet, though.
How do you know that? You never been out of space, nigga. What?
I want to hear it again. That's so epic. That is Share Your Pain 101. Right? I don't hear this!
Out of space, nigga.
There's a part of that you miss.
Actually, the guy screaming is screaming because Mike Tyson caught the guy out with a good punch in that, how do you know you haven't been out of space? And the guy's just saying, aha, but he's giving it with the scream, that's all. Okay, you've got to understand black psychology, man.
Is this black psychology? Eli was the one who piped up before you did. Go on, Eli, what were you going to say?
I can't eat.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. Anyway, we've got a link to Mike Tyson now, so I'll pick a first video on his list.
Maybe Flat Earth did start out from black guys in Burger King.
Check me out in Asphalt City. This will be a promotion for a fight he's having, presumably.
I don't know if I believe in heaven, but I believe in hell.
This isn't very Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he's about to fight Jake Paul. Did you know?
Yeah, it did. What an embarrassment!
It's gonna crush him.
What?
Yeah,
I don't
know, man.
I don't know about that.
There's a guy who made a very good point that his punch resistance has been dropping since like early 2000s. So, he can hit hard, but
he's in his 60s, Neil.
Resistance to someone punching him.
He's in his 60s. I mean, I don't know if I should give my opinion on this.
Listen to me carefully. Hold on. Listen to me carefully. Okay, go ahead.
You say listen to me carefully. I'm going to shut up, aren't I?
Oh, okay. So Mike Tyson is going to hit this guy with a combination. He's going to hit him with more combinations than a Chinese restaurant. So forget about this Paul guy.
Okay. I don't think you're really taking into consideration Mike Tyson's age. I mean, yeah.
I do take into consideration his age. But some people, you have to understand, this guy is not a boxer. He's an amateur. Mike Tyson is a fighter. There's a difference between a fighter and a boxer.
Okay, well, time will tell. I just don't think it's. I just don't think it's something that. This is going to sound terrible. I don't think it should be happening. Personally, that's my attitude. I mean, even if he wins, it's just like what? Why is this even happening? This seems silly to me. But there we go. That's just my opinion on it. Jake Paul will do very well. He's leeching off the good name of one of the best fighters in history.
It's happening because he has big bills to pay.
Yeah, but Eli, if he was fighting somebody,
hold on, Neil. Hold on, Neil. Just one sec. Were you referring to Tyson? You're saying Tyson's just got bills to pay?
Yeah.
Yeah. What a bummer of a position to be in. A potential to tarnish your legacy with some tosser like Jake Paul. I don't want to say that about Jake Paul. I'm sure he's a very nice guy, and more power to him in terms of leeching off the credit and abilities of Mike Tyson in terms of about now. That can only serve the interests of Jake Paul, regardless of the outcome. And from that perspective, more power to you, Jake Paul. Wonderful marketing. I mean, that's fantastic. From your perspective, this is wonderful. I mean, just wonderful. I bet you are absolutely made up. So to hear Mike Tyson's got to do this to pay the bills, I could weep for the guy.
That's not true.
I feel so bad for him if that's the case.
It's not true.
Well, that's what
Mike Tyson is doing Mike Tyson is doing very well, Eli. He's got a bunch of people around him now that are looking out for him. He's got freaking that marijuana thing going on. He's got vapes. He's got Mike Tyson vapes out there, marketing himself very well. He's not doing it for the money. He says it. He feels like because he's a warrior, and he feels like since he humbled himself, he don't know what he is anymore, and he hates that.
What do you mean
he's
humbled
trying
himself?
to find that fighter again.
What do you mean humbled himself?
Gotta watch his videos.
Well, yeah, he is a lot. He's very humble versus, his what is the word? Sentiment. I don't know what it is. But back in the day, he's a lot more humble now. It's very enjoyable watching an older man is coming across with wisdom versus just being this young a-hole who knows he can beat everyone. But I mean, I'm not saying the guy is broke. The same way I wouldn't say a person with, a good 9 to 5 is broke. But I'm saying that regardless of what you do in America, supposedly the statistics are that 60% of people live paycheck to paycheck. Mike is one of those people. That's why he's doing this. That's why he has a podcast. That's why he has all this other stuff going on. Because if he had investments that paid him, he wouldn't need to work. But he doesn't have investments. Why? Because he put all of his investment into Don King. Now he has to build up what or salvage what's left. And unfortunately,
and that's the sad thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Customato left him in good hands. If he would have just stood with the guys that Cuss put around him, they were going to take care of him. They were going to make sure, because Cuss put it in there. You make sure you take care of him. His money's his money. But he fell for that old thing. Don't trust a white man. And they freaking robbed him. Don King robbed him. It's a shame what happened to Mike Tyson. Freaking really is a shame, man.
Go on,
Makes
Jin.
me, that
If I
annoys
may
the
just,
shit
if
out
I
of me.
may,
Yeah, go ahead, Jin.
sorry, Neil. Yeah, sorry, Neil. I was just gonna say that I think Mike Tyson, financially he's okay. He's not struggling. The point is, I think he's a brave man to do what he wants to do, and maybe he's got some personal feeling in himself. Can I still achieve that what I did before and take a fight on? He's brave to want to do that. Okay, at 60, I'm 62, so I know what it's like to want to retain your youth, your health, and your strength if you can muster it up. Now that's what he's doing. This could be something personal within himself, and a personal fight within himself, and he just wants to prove to himself that he can do it. That's all there is to it there. Come on, he's a brave man. He's taking on a younger person. He's got more to lose than that young person, as far as I'm concerned, even though
I
he's 60.
agree.
Exactly. He's got more to lose. That's the point, isn't it? It's just a shame he's in that
You
position.
heard it from me first. He's going to crush this Jake Paul. Crush him.
And I'm just worried about his ability to take a punch. I mean, Jake Paul
He ain't going to have to take a punch. He ain't going to have to.
All right. I mean, he is 60. He looks good when he turns on the camera and he just hit the gym and he's like, all right, get us sparring. But, after a minute, 2 minutes, I hope he puts Jake Paul on his ass. Because I love Mike Tyson, not because I necessarily want Jake Paul to lose, but we'll see. Like Nathan said, we'll see.
I almost don't care about the outcome. I just think
Sorry if I can add this. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I always feel that these kind of bouts where you got the young versus the, I really find them interesting. Okay. See what can be done at 60.
Maybe.
Listen, Jim,
I'm a giant killer. I'm 62. I'm taking.
Hold on, Neil. Go on, Jin. Or don't. Go ahead, Neil.
If it goes past 3 rounds, something like that, yeah, then you got to worry. All right? Because then his age is going to kick in. 3, 4, 5 rounds, yeah. But I'm telling you, this guy, Jake Paul's never been hit by the likes of a guy like Tyson. I'm sorry.
I hate this.
He's going to wake up into a sad reality.
Yeah, don't forget.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
I hate this. Us assessing Mike Tyson now. It just seems so wrong. But there we go.
So according to you, they would have never made the movie Rocky Balboa. Because he went in there to get his license and they won't give it to him because of his age.
Okay, I'm sure Tyson would be absolutely...
Let me just say this.
Hold on. I think Tyson would be elated to be compared to Rocky, down on his luck, struggling to get a license. I'm sure he'd be loving being compared, Neil.
No, the movie Rocky Balboa, not Rocky, because he was fine.
Yeah.
If you didn't see the movie Rocky Balboa, then forget it.
I didn't.
It should have been Rocky 5. It was all about
Rocky
grieving.
Balboa. Yeah.
That was a great freaking movie.
That was a great
Absolutely.
movie.
Okay, can we edge this back onto Flat Earth with Mike Tyson in mind?
Yeah, Mike Tyson said the Earth is flat, man. He ain't never been to space.
Oh, right. Well, with that in mind, please let Mike Tyson know, although it's on a random video that's not going to be the one we've covered, because that would take some
Okay,
time.
now I do feel, last point I'm going to make. The last point I'm going to make. Sorry.
Doing a shout out. Just give me a sec.
Let me just make this little point. I think Mike Tyson is in good physical condition. I think he's going to give the young man.
Okay. you've just put yourself on mute in the middle of your own sentence there, Jin. But ideally, I'd just get to the end of this shout out. So please let Mike Tyson know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a nice comment that helps him along in the algorithm. Not that he necessarily needs it, but hopefully, if Mike Tyson were to respond, hopefully without any response to the ignorance I've displayed in terms of fighting, which I know nothing about, but in respect to the flat Earth information that we've disseminated, because I'm hoping that he'll, you know, as I say, be directed to this video so he knows we're talking about him, and hope he hears what I say about what it is to be a flat earther. He may not want that label. You know, denying globe rhetoric doesn't necessarily make you a flat earther, regardless of what Jin says. And maybe people will go with a comment that tries to clarify that with him on this specific video that has nothing to do with flat earth, I'm in no doubt. But nevertheless, he said it, we've heard it, it was in the trimmed out clip, so please let him know. Please stay on mute till I've just finished the bloody call to action, whoever is in open mic in G+. This is now the third attempt to do this. What a shit show. Can you just mute till I finish shouting out Mike? Mike, man, I really wanted to do a proper good shout out for you. Keep it clean. Yeah? It's not my fault. Love you, bro. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Hopefully he'd return the love and put a link to our video were he to respond to us, pointing out that Earth is measured flat. For their globe religion, for the people who laughed and screamed when you told them they haven't been to space, their globe religion's based on flat Earth measurements. Let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. Link going by in the live stream chat right now if you are actually watching live. Although it'll still be there after the fact. Just go to the live stream chat. Okay, I'm now done for every interrupter that wanted to get in on that. Jin, you go first, because you cut yourself off in the middle of your sentence about his physique.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, sorry, I was just going to say that I think Mike Tyson is in good condition for his age. The young man he's going to have a fight with has to keep himself on his toes, keep his guards up. Don't let it down, because Mike Tyson is a dark horse in that ring. You know, he's got that one punch that will send you into the stratosphere. Okay, so be careful. And you heard it from me about the Mike Tyson being a flat earther. So there you go. Jin CBO1, keeping it alive. The loudest flat earther you'll ever meet. Undisputed champion. Dark destroyer of the heliocentric model. Thank you very much.
Where you go, Jin?
I don't know, you're making assumptions about him. I don't know if this is reasonable. Okay, if you want to actually see what Mike Tyson's form's like, I have been keeping up with his shorts videos, I'll be honest, in terms of his training. So we'll have a watch of one of these.
Get ready for you. Day two, we get it.
There you go. So you can make up your own mind about Mike Tyson's physical fitness and how capable he is in terms of a fight with Jake Paul. Not that I think it's pretty disgusting that we're even assessing this, but there we go. That's life, isn't it?
Yep.
It's a great picture you got up right now.
He also, before we get to that, it is a great picture, angles of elevation to the bluff, or the cliff, whatever you call it. But the one part that was missing in that clip with Mike Tyson is him asking Jim Jones, that's the guy he was talking to in the clip, Jim Jones, the rapper, for anybody who cares out there, he said, so you really believe that it's raining diamonds on Saturn? You think it's raining diamonds? Come on, you don't know that shit, son. I was like, yo. Or diamonds on Jupiter, whichever one it is.
Did he say that, or are you suggesting he should?
No, that is what he said in the rest of the clip.
Did he really? In the bit that we played out?
No, but I've seen that episode. So he also, like, when Jim Jones is like, nah, you're not gonna tell me this, and da. He's like, they say that it's raining diamonds on whatever planet he said. I can't remember which one it is. He's like, you believe that shit?
Fair enough. I mean, it sounds like he has assessed it, and maybe I'll be eating my words, Jin. If he's questioning people based on...
you're going to be eating your words, Nathan.
But it sounds like he's questioning...
Dark horse myself, man.
But at the very least, he's questioning some of the bullshit narrative, right? You believe there's diamonds falling down on a light in the sky? Really? You believe that shit? Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. Beyond the fact that I'm not going to change my rhetoric, the sky's not a vacuum. "107 people watching. A very big thank you to all of you who smashed that share button at my call to action earlier. Please share the show if you've not done so already. Very warm welcome to all 107 people here, but especially the people who've just got here. Please share the show. We're covering Mike Tyson, in case you can't figure it out, with his face on screen. And although we have gone through the unfortunate circumstances of him fighting some whippersnapper upstart, let's just call him, in the boxing fraternity, that is a side issue to the fact that Mike Tyson is apparently a flat earther, or at the very least, a globe skeptic. I think I'll go with that at this point, Jin. He's definitely a globe skeptic. You happy with that?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I agree with that. Yeah, no problem.
Go on, Adam.
I just asked AI just to see what she'd say. Based on available information, it's highly likely that Mike Tyson adheres to the flat earth belief system. Here's why. YouTube channel. Mike Tyson has a YouTube channel specifically dedicated to flat earth content. Channels promoting flat earth ideas typically present arguments, information that support the flat earth model. So he might be a bit more on it.
He might be our enemy.
He might be an Ethereum. We'll have him.
Yeah, this is the problem, isn't it? You just don't know. So we get stereotyped all the time with what flat earthers believe. And I actually explained this recently in an interview I did with JLB, a Bonversation, as he calls it. You can check it out on his website. Or if you're a member of mine, you can see the full 4 hours of us producing that show. So it's not edited or nice or anything, but his version is. So I would recommend you go and watch it and become a member of his website to go and watch it. Anyway, in the interview, I was explaining that we actually stand in opposition to almost everybody. So if, for the sake of argument, Mike was here now and he was like, "Do you believe there's diamonds raining down on Jupiter," or wherever it's claimed to be, Io or something, some moon of Saturn or something? And I go, "Well, who cares? The sky's not a vacuum." Yeah? Now, it might be that there's certain aspects of heliocentrism that he retains, or certain aspects of Feast of Nonsense Flat Earth that he has taken on board to make his arguments with. Certainly doesn't seem the case in the very, very limited information I've got about Mike Tyson's Flat Earthism. It doesn't seem that way, right? But you don't know. Now, again, the guy's pretty terrifying. So in terms of if I was actually face-to-face to him, I'd be very careful with my words when I'm like, no, it's just measured flat. No, your heliocentric sky vacuums derive from orbital motions that came from flat Earth measurements. The notions of gravity, etc., etc. If he's an Ethereum, for the sake of argument, he might be an upward rising earther, for all we know. And suddenly you're facing down with what I earlier described as a monster, a killer, right? Telling him he's wrong. Now, I'm sure the guy, I've watched enough of Mike Tyson now, and Eli echoed this sentiment in terms of how humble he is at the moment. You know, he's pretty chill, right? He's swearing a bit, but he's pretty chill when he's even covering a controversial subject with a rapper in this instance. Yeah, he's not looking like he's about ready to get angry about it. Let's be honest. So I wouldn't be that concerned. But I know the nature of the beast also if I piss him off too much. And you've got to be on the back foot when it comes to flat earthers. We're on the front foot as far as telling people Earth's measured flat and our opponents agree with us. Oh yeah, it's just because it's so big though. Yeah, that's still measured flat though, isn't it? But the flat earthers are giving us the strongest opposition at the moment. Would you not agree? And he might be one of them. You know what I mean?
I agree to that.
Yeah.
Been saying it for a while. Flat Earthers are giving us a hard time more than ballers.
JLB couldn't wrap his head around it. It's like, what do you mean you stand in opposition to flat earthers? You've just told me you're a flat earther. I'm like, I am. I know Earth's measured flat, but there's plenty of what I call the Feast of Nonsense, which I would suggest is akin to a controlled opposition narrative. I wish I was more careful with that wording when I said it to him, because he's like, are you saying there's a controlled opposition narrative? Can you prove it's controlled opposition? I'm like, no. I'm suggesting that if I wanted to have a controlled opposition narrative, it would be the flat earth narrative we have, because it's all nonsense. It's all making baseless assertions. It's all based on paradigms that you can't prove, and models that are set up in false dichotomy. All of these things are positioning flat earthers to be ridiculed, whereas we want to just prove it's flat here on Flat Earth Debate, but we're amongst the minority of specifically named as flat earthers. We are not the majority. Quite the contrary, the majority who want Ethereum belief or various other flat earth, new age, worldly beliefs, they want to retain those with the scientific validity they claim to have to offer to their audiences when they claim it. We say, you haven't got any scientific proof for this. You don't even know what science is. And the result of that is me, I was going to say we, might as well be honest, I get called a scammer for pointing out how the scientific method works when flat earthers are using these tricks that put us on a globe to claim new nonsense in a flat earth realm. Well, as I say, we stand in opposition to that garbage. Therefore, we're opposed on all sides. Shouldn't laugh, it's a fact though. And I don't want Mike Tyson to be one of those sides. He looks really, really mean.
I feel what you're saying.
Don't forget, we got Brummy on our side.
From the we don't get much. We don't get much. You know what the problem is?
What?
Across the board, the problem is logical fallacies. I know I say this all the time. It's not like I'm perfect. Like I don't commit logical fallacies here and there. But if I'm called out on it, I'm gonna take pause and go, "Well, how so? Okay, well maybe I did do that." I'm not gonna try to reroute the sentiment of my like my premise into another I've already inserted my premise into a fallacious argument, so it's like I'm not going to try to reroute and give another example that will do exactly the same thing, commit the same fallacy. And the reason that I'm bringing this up is because these, the flat earthers that are against us, they kind of do what the ballers do. They learned logical fallacies enough to try to call someone out here and there when they're committing one, but when they're asking questions back, or when they're establishing a point of their own, they're not internally like checking whether or not they're committing a fallacy themselves. And that's the problem. That's why people will say, well, I know what you're saying about the second law of thermodynamics, but let's think about it like this. Couldn't I just say that, couldn't you just make an assumption like they did? Like, why? But they'll fight you for that.
Witsit was the perfect example. The other day with Witsit. How many times did he commit the same logical fallacy and add two other ones on?
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone?
What's up? So the one thing I will say is as far as the anti-flat earthers, like they don't even have a claim. Shout out to MG42 Pillbox for saying that they haven't made a claim in years, because we were talking to Ed Master this morning in Earth Awakenings, and he's basically saying he don't have a claim, or don't strawman him. So I said, okay, well, I'm just gonna make a statement then. And I said the atmosphere reaches zero at the carbon line, according to them. Okay, do we have any evidence of that? And he said that's not true. And I said, well, here's a citation that's saying it, not that it can be evidence.
Oh,
now,
beautiful.
You're saying that it continues to... No, his contention, this is the most important part. He said, yeah, the citation that I brought up said assumes. So he wasn't taking on the position, and he was nitpicking the fact that it said assumes.
Yeah, what
fair
you're
enough.
describing is stereotypical anti-flat earther behavior. So they're more than happy to relinquish, in this case entirely, all globe claims and superimpose their own belief, individualistic belief, of how a globe Earth would work according to them, in their mind, and then disclaim that they, as an individual, because it's their claims, they're not making any. So you, logically so, put the globe Earth claim to them, and they say, I'm not making that claim, or that claim, that obviously you can debunk, is a straw man, for example. If Earth's a sphere radius 3959 miles, then every distance to horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as laid down in the Earth curve maths. What's that you say, Mr. Anti-Flat Earth opponent? That's a straw man? No, that's your maths. But you're more than happy to relinquish your own claim, or even say it's mine, so you can oppose it. Yeah, that's an anti-flat earther. Not making a claim. Yeah, we know what the globe claim is. It's set in stone. Doesn't matter if you adhere to it. You still want to believe you're on a globe, but as an anti-flat earther, you can relinquish all globe claims because you haven't made them. And when we point them out, you tell us how our rendition of the globe claim is wrong. Yeah, anti-flat earth. Someone else we oppose.
I just want to add real quick. Thank you, Nathan, for sharing that thing on Mike Tyson. I just love it. A lot of these guys on these platforms, they like to, he's an advocate for flat earth, but he didn't want to seem like it. So he just threw it out there as a, presupposition. That's why he said, how do we know? What if we did this? And what if we did? That was beautiful. And that's on a huge platform. He has a lot of viewers. So hopefully more will be bold enough to do that and just put it out there as a point of discussion. But that was a good one right there. Somebody like him is very influential on all spectrums. So that's good.
Cool. Well, I hope people in the audience do actually let him know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and leave him a nice comment, or maybe ask, hey Mike, do you actually believe the Earth is flat? Because if he says yes, he's probably our enemy. If he says I know it's flat, he's on our side. But with that, I'll say if you're watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams, stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So another massive thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, shared the show, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you again to today's Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. Stay tuned if you're watching on an after show. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!